The Rams have made so many moves this offseason in free agency that has also changed the trajectory of what they can do in the draft. We're going to talk a little bit about a mock draft here on today's episode, as well as a combination of Davante Adams, Puka Nacua, how scary of a duo they can be, and much more on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, press that subscribe button now, as 72.5% of you guys are watching the videos, but you're still not subscribed to the channel. Do me the favor, press the subscribe button now so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. Before we get into the stories, I want to hear a quick word from the sponsor of today's video. We are incredibly excited to be kicking off our March Madness bracket here for the channel. We're going to be partnering up with the Hot Takes app and other digest channels for this event. It's completely free to sign up. All you got to do is download the Hot Takes app, go ahead and click over the March Madness banner at the top, and under group, select the Digest Media Pool. This is extremely exciting, guys. We're talking about over $25,000 in prizes to be won, and since there's a much smaller pool of people participating, there's a real chance of winning big compared to other bracket challenges out there. Check out the link below or scan the QR code to download the app, and make sure to use the promo code DIGEST in all caps. Again, that's DIGEST in all caps to get exclusive perks when signing up. It's completely free, a serious chance to win. So do me a favor, if you guys have any questions at all, go ahead and hit the email down below. Other than that, thank you to Hot Takes for this opportunity, and I hope to see you all there in the March Madness pool. First things first, we're going to get into this first story here. We're talking about Puka Nacua and Davante Adams and how scary of a duo they can really be this season. I mean, I don't think we're really understanding the situation here. I mean, I think, of course, many Rams fans do understand how incredible it is to bring in Davante Adams. Don't get me wrong, but are Rams, Adams, and Nacua the new feared receiver duo? Los Angeles Rams might have the best wide receiver duo in the entire NFC, and I actually might take that a step further. It might not even just be the NFC. We might be talking about the entire NFL. We're talking about Davante Adams, who over the last 5 seasons has consistently put up over 1,000 yards. I mean, you want to say that he's slowing down, he's getting older, whatever it is. He's gone over 1,000 yards in the last 5 years with some pretty crappy quarterback play. I mean, excuse my language, but I mean, I'm being honest here, right? It's been not the best quarterback play for Davante Adams the last few years. And then Puka Nacua, we've already seen what he's done the first 2 seasons. Yes, of course, he didn't go over 1,000 yards last year, but that's just because of injury. If he was healthy all year, he easily surpasses over 1,200 yards, probably easily over 1,000. No, he's only, like, I think, a few away from the 1,000 mark. So ultimately, if he's healthy, he's going over 1,000. He's going over 1,200. I'm sorry. He's going over 1,400 possibly, right? And so we're talking about this duo that could ultimately be both, right, included in the top 10 wide receivers of the NFL next year. There's easily a world where the Rams, Adams, and Nacua are both top 10 receivers in the NFL next season. In Nacua's first 2 seasons, he has averaged 1,238 yards per year and could have easily surpassed the 1,000-yard mark again if he were healthier to begin the season last year. Adams has recorded 1,000 yards, what I just said, in the past 5 seasons. Over that stretch, Adams has hauled in 6,650 receiving yards, giving him an average of 1,330 receiving yards brought in each year. With the Rams able to retain quarterback Matthew Stafford, this new duo could elevate the franchise to new heights. And I ultimately do think that's where the conversation kind of changes, right? Can Matthew Stafford continue to still be the great top 10 quarterback that he has been the last few years, especially in talking about November, December, late in the year, the playoff kind of beast that he has been the last few years for the Rams? Can Matthew Stafford continue that at age 37? That is still yet to be seen. If he's playing his kind of best football, though, that he can possibly play, I really don't see how anyone slows down this offense. We're also talking about, I mean, I think people forget how great of a coach Sean McVay can be. I know it's crazy to say that, but sometimes people can forget that, right? He's a great creative coach on the offensive side of the ball, and so he's motivating. He's going to get them ready to play. We have the deep ball now with Davante Adams still. We also have the deep ball with Puka Nacua. We have the quick inside routes with Puka Nacua. You still got Jordan Whittington on the inside. You still got Tutu Atwell who can do his thing, the speediness that he can do. And up the middle, up the seam, you're still talking about Tyler Higbee, that if he's a healthy tight end, he can still be a very dangerous tight end. We saw what he can do in the playoffs last year, right? We talked about it all year, all playoffs when we're talking about on the Rams Digest, we were literally saying, look, if Tyler Higbee can come back, that's a very scary situation for any team facing the Rams in the playoffs. He comes back, had some incredible games in the playoffs, and so shout out to Tyler Higbee. If he can just stay healthy, I think you're looking at a team that just has ultimately weapons all over the place. Let's not forget that run game. I mean, just incredible options for the Rams moving forward. So this duo, Rams, of Davante Adams, Puka Nacua might be the scariest duo in the league. You guys let me know how you feel. Let me know a couple other duos you think are better than Puka Nacua and Davante Adams. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. And don't be biased. Try to see some other better duos out there in the league we can discuss to see where we kind of rank Davante Adams and Puka Nacua as a duo. We're talking about draft plans. Things kind of start changing, right? We were talking about at some point this offseason, I mentioned Kyren Williams and his extension. We'll see if he can get one before the next season starts. But ultimately, we're talking about Kyren Williams, talking about Blake Corum, and obviously the Rams just made a big signing today, or a solid signing today. Rams running back Ronnie Rivers agrees to terms on a 1-year deal. So Ronnie Rivers is back as the third running back option for the Rams. Carried the ball 63 times, 249 rushing yards, including 22 attempts for 99 yards last season. That's just in general over his career, that first couple stats we were talking about. So, Ronnie Rivers, an interesting name to bring in as a third running back option. In my personal opinion, this kind of changes a lot of what the Rams can look at in the draft. We were thinking maybe running back is a potential late round kind of addition. Yes, I like Blake Corum, but if Kyren Williams goes down, for example, or the future of the running back position, can Blake Corum be that lead running back, that workhorse running back for years to come? I'm not sure, just because he is a little bit of a smaller back. And so ultimately, I do think the Rams were going to look at running back this offseason. Yet here we go with adding running back Ronnie Rivers. It's a 1-year deal, so it doesn't mean the Rams are completely out on getting a running back for the future. So maybe they can still draft a running back this year, but ultimately the draft plans, right, are kind of changing a little bit, in my opinion. Right, you sign Ronnie Rivers, then you have 3 running backs officially on the roster, and so what are we really going to do in the draft? Are we looking at running back? Are we looking at tight end? Are we looking at receiver? Probably not as much anymore. Maybe still looking at the offensive line depth, but it looks like we're set up for another pretty solid defensive draft again this year. And so when we're looking at mock drafts, generally speaking, here's the Rams Wire coming out with one. Tyler Greenwald, he comes out with a Rams 7-round mock draft. We're going to talk a little bit more on the top side of the draft, if you will, the first 3 rounds, or the first 3 picks that he made on this mock draft, just to kind of get a taste of what it's going to look like for mock drafts in general moving forward for the Rams. But look, he's already saying right off the bat, defense heavy. It starts defense heavy, and I really do truly believe that the top half of the draft for the Rams is going to be focused on the defensive side of the ball, just because they are pretty much set on the offensive side of things. And so when we're taking a look at this, we'll see what the first pick of his mock draft it has the Rams taking. I've actually done a mock draft myself, a couple of them. And many people didn't like this pick that I made, but I made this exact pick a couple of weeks ago. Rams going first round, number 26 pick in the draft, Jihad Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama. Here's the explanation here from the Rams Wire. Campbell has been a popular pick for the Rams here if he lasts this long because of LA's obvious lack of linebackers, which is also why I discussed the Rams maybe going after a CJ Mosley, a Raekwon McMillan, maybe going after a linebacker like Isaiah Simmons, Kaiser White from the Cardinals, right? Jared Verse and Byron Young are the outside linebackers, with only Omar Speights and Elias Neal in the middle. Again, not really hating Omar Speights or Elias Neal, but just kind of acknowledging here that, hey, that is not necessarily what you want to be at for the full season. No disrespect to those guys, but you still want to get some more talent in the middle of the linebacker room there. This is a position the Rams must target early, and there's no better option than Campbell. He tallied 5 sacks in 2024 with 12 tackles for a loss, 2 forced fumbles, and 117 combined tackles. He finished his collegiate career with 184 combined tackles, 5.5 sacks, and 2 interceptions in 35 games. The one thing I do want to note here about Jihad Campbell is when I was doing my research on him as a player, as a linebacker, when I picked him in the mock draft, I actually don't believe he was initially brought up in Alabama's defense as a middle linebacker. I think he was playing kind of out of position. So if he's a player that can develop even more at the middle linebacker position for the Rams, I really do think that'd be a great pick for the Rams. I know not everybody loves the linebacker first round kind of role here, but we're talking about what, tight end in the first round, linebacker first round. Of course, you want to look at the corners in the first round. I get it. But ultimately, the Rams don't have as many needs as we thought they might, right, earlier in the year, before they drafted signed Davante Adams, before they signed bringing back Tyler Higbee, right, for example, or re-signing Alaric Jackson, I should say. Talking about all these pieces that the Rams are looking at right now, they're kind of set at a lot of positions. At least you would assume they're pretty set, right? Of course, I'm sure if a great draft piece falls in their lap that may be better than someone that's starting for them right now, sure, they'll probably take a look at best player available type of situation. But ultimately, right now, they're pretty set at a lot of their spots on offense and defense. We're looking mostly at linebacker, maybe some defensive line depth, maybe some cornerback depth, depth, a new quarterback starter, right? That'd be great and ideal, and that's where that second pick in this mock draft has the Rams going. Third round, pick number 90, Jacob Parrish, cornerback out of Kansas State. Parrish would help fill out the Rams cornerback depth chart. He totaled 5 interceptions and 16 defended passes over the past 2 seasons for the Wildcats. And so ultimately, not a really bad pick here. We're talking about a top 100 pick, but it is a 90th pick in the draft. So we're talking about 89 players that may be better than this player here, right, for the Rams and their perspective. So you can't really expect a guy like Jacob Parrish or any player that's selected here in the 3rd round, 90th pick in the draft to immediately come in and start over everybody in that defensive back room. But again, we're talking about, are we going to start Emmanuel Forbes? Are they going to re-sign some guys that are right now free agents for the Rams? That's definitely something to look at. But right now, at this moment in time, the Rams do need a corner. They do need a linebacker. Those are the first 2 picks in the draft for this mock draft from the Rams Wire. So very interesting to see there. And then last but not least, here is that 3rd pick of this mock draft. We have the Rams round 3 pick number 101 going Omar Norman Lott, defensive tackle out of Tennessee. Norman Lott has 13.5 sacks in his career with 17 tackles for a loss in 44 collegiate games. Here we go, a little bit of a breakdown here. An athletic 3-technique defensive tackle, Omar Norman Lott is one of the best interior pass rushers in the 2025 NFL Draft with a low center of gravity, impressive hand usage, and a dynamic first step off the ball. He has a potential of being a fixture for an NFL defensive line for a long time. And so ultimately the Rams are in a place right now, in a position, right, where they have the starters on that defensive line pretty much set in stone. This is a guy I think you can have learn behind a Kobe Turner. Maybe he wants to bulk up a little bit, be more of a little bit of a Puna forward for the Rams. Out of the route he wants to take, he's kind of in that middle ground where he can do a little bit of run stopping, but really has shown flashes in college as a pass rusher. And so overall, very interesting route the Rams can take. You're talking about adding, again, depth to that defensive line. You would have a corner in this draft. You have a new linebacker in this draft. I would still like to see the Rams go after a veteran, cheap linebacker just to make sure you're getting a veteran mentor in the room that has starting NFL experience. Also, if he needs to start in a pinch, maybe the guy you draft isn't really ready, like Jihad Campbell, if he's not ready for some reason out of the first round to immediately start the first few weeks, then, of course, you have a veteran to kind of ease him in to the groove of things. And so that's kind of ideal, I think, for the Rams. That'd be interesting for the Rams to go another defensive heavy draft. Again, we already see how great this draft, these last couple drafts have been for the Rams, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And so I wouldn't be opposed to the Rams going defensive heavy. It just really depends on who they're bringing in the room at 1 positions and all that good stuff. So very intriguing stuff here. Maybe tomorrow, Monday, we could do a mock draft Monday tomorrow from myself and kind of give some more ideas of what we can do on the offense or defensive side of things in the draft. But really the Rams are set at a lot of positions, so I'm kind of excited to see already the first mock draft I see since the Davante Adams signing. We're looking at more of the defensive side of things being drafted for mock drafts. So very, very intriguing stuff here. You guys let me know how you guys feel about all that. Trivia of the day, last but not least, my favorite part of the episode. If you guys have never played Trivia of the Day with us, this is where I give a trivia question and you guys give your guesses down below in the comments. We shout you out on the next episode. Whether you're right, whether you're wrong, we'll give you a shout out. Yesterday's trivia of the day was the Rams retired jersey number 74 to honor what Hall of Fame defensive lineman. So I appreciate the ones who did play along. If you guys have never played along, you just hit the comments. I'll screenshot those who responded, even if it's right. Whether it's right or wrong, we'll go ahead and screenshot it and shout you guys out on the next episode. So those who played along last episode, these were the names here. We had Batman62 saying the late, great Merlin Olsen. We had Big Friendly saying Deacon Jones. We had The Real Jay Will saying, I'ma say Merlin Olsen. Final answer. Brian B says Merlin Olsen with the championship trophies. We have Floyd saying Merlin Olsen. We have Lance Webb saying Deacon Jones. And we had Jeffrey Marley saying Deacon Jones. I don't want to get no hate comments down below if they got it wrong, because I know this is a Ram-specific question, and I get it. But if you got it right, if you did it wrong, I don't care. We're not judging here. We're just kind of playing a little fun game here. The multiple choice options for that question was A, Deacon Jones, B, Merlin Olsen, C, Lamar Lundy, or D, Roosevelt Greer. The answer for the trivia of the day was Merlin Olsen. So shout out to all you guys who got it correct. Sorry, I said that weird. Merlin Olsen. Shout out to all you guys who got it correct. We appreciate you guys commenting. Even you guys who got it wrong, we appreciate you commenting as well and playing along and being honest, right? You got it wrong because you were being honest. You didn't Google it or anything like that. So we always appreciate you guys. Trivia of the day for today. Here is the question. The best-selling book, A Season of Life, is a story of ordained minister and volunteer coach Joe Ehrman. Was once a star defensive tackle for what NFL team? So the best-selling book, A Season of Life, is the story of ordained minister and volunteer coach Joe Ehrmann, who was once a star defensive tackle for what NFL team? Let me make sure I got the trivia question up here. The multiple choice options for this question were, was he a player for the Colts, the Dolphins, the Bears, or the Giants? A, Colts, B, Dolphins, C, Bears, or D, Giants? Give your guesses down below in the comment section. We'll shout you out on the next episode. Whether you're right, whether you're wrong, we'll go ahead and shout you out anyways. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. Make sure you guys check out the Hot Takes app as we have that March Madness pool kind of coming around very, very soon. So go ahead and join that before you miss out. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. That's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I'm out.